Hills, which is a great place. And this was the man that, orchestrated this whole thing for us. So I want to bring on Ken from Waverly Hills.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What's going on, buddy?
How are you, Steve?
Good to see you again.
How are you both? I don't think I've met you. Is it Tayen?
Yeah, you got it right.
Hi, Tayen. Now, Tayen, didn't you guys have a booth at Fear Expo this year?
We did. And I think I came by and talked to you all like we were interviewing people.
Yeah, that you did. You had that really cool booth with everything that made noise, right?
Yeah, we're the noisy people.
Big backfire.
That's right. Yeah, that was a cool booth. I really liked that. You guys stood out. A lot of the noise attracted my attention. So, all right, let's get down to business, guys, because you know where I'm at right now? I am in a drive-in getting ready in the next 30 minutes for a movie.
What movie you seeing?
Okay, don't judge me.
Never.
I'm going to see Fast X with Vin Diesel.
All right, I'm going to judge you a little bit.
Judge me a little bit. Just a little bit.
No, you're going to have to let us know how it is.
I like these, after a long day, sometimes I love the drive-in, first of all. And the one that I normally go to has an old 50s Chevy in the front, neon lights. It's amazing. And it's right across the way in Indiana. And I've done a lot of work with them through the years. We would have some of our special events up there. I used to bring celebrities up there. I brought everybody from the Fonz to Linda Blair, the Exorcist, to Michael Madsen. So I, took Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street up there. A lot of these, really cool celebs. But yeah, I'm here at this drive-in, looking forward to this because I've had a long day. It's the start of the summer season. So I was like, all right. And I talked to Doug. So when I was talking to Doug, and I said, Doug, I don't want to talk about the same thing that everyone talks about. People next year are coming to Fear Expo for a new reason that Doug and you guys are building into this show. And I told Doug I love that because you know what, guys? Every haunt owner who puts on a new haunt or somebody who's a big haunt owner, most of these haunt owners want to figure out how they can make more money, have a more successful haunt, and have an easier haunt on them. I mean, you can love anything to death, but if you have to work in it all the time, you're stressing and you're not enjoying the process, then what are you doing it for?
Right. Well, let's talk about that. So it's not just Waverly Hills Sanatorium. It's the haunted attraction that's there. And you are a huge part of that. Not only that, because you've been in this business for a very long time. You've had many hats.
Let me give you this example. I've been on the board for a couple of years, and we did the haunt last year. The year before that, they didn't have the haunt. My management company with my partner, Rich, we both put the haunt on and our management company put it on last year, but he and I both have been in haunts for years. I've been doing haunts since the 80s. Yes, I'm old. But one of my favorite haunts, Waverly's a unique haunt. What applies to Waverly doesn't apply to other places, except places like Waverly. So for the home haunt, not for the home haunt, but for the put together haunt, so to speak, it's a whole different animal. It requires a whole different type of setup. And when I put on a haunt at the drive-in I was telling you about in Indiana, I put on for several years a haunt called the Drive-In of Terror. I still own that, called driveinofterror.com. And I started that back in 2011. And it was unique. And one of the things I found through talking to a lot of business owners in the haunt world, they're frustrated. Okay. When they go to different haunt, what they call trade shows, and these trade shows are great. We all love them. We love to purchase those products, but they're not geared for the hardcore people that want to level up, truly want to level up. And what I have to say that Fear Expo and Hong Kong are trying to do, I think is pretty cool. And that's no offense to anybody else who's putting on trade shows in this industry, but people need to be taught How do you separate your haunt from somebody else's haunt? How do you level up and make that $1 million haunt? How do you make that $2 million haunt, if that's possible? Let's say, if you're not a tourist attraction like Universal Studios has, haunted nights, there's or Disney or Not Scary Farm, the big, massive tourism haunts that have unfair advantages to the regular non-tourist attraction haunt owner. Waverly's a wonderful place. Everybody should come visit. The founders that made it as it currently is, bought it 24 years ago. They've really worked their butts off on it. They've had their struggles. They've gone up and down, and it's hard work. And when the paranormal industries took off, these type of buildings have an unfair advantage. So you can't even bring them into the mix. You can't. Like, I was talking to Doug, one of the co-owners of Fear Expo. I said, Doug, you got to go to a new place next year. Don't go to the same places all the time. And if you're going to include that, he says, we're going to go to the Bell Witch Cave and we're going to do this in Tennessee. I said, that's great. But you have to look at, if I'm a business owner, like Tayen, her business, and her mom has the business and everybody has a business. I'm not sure who the owners are, but let's say they want to know how to profit more, serve their customer better, work smarter and not harder, and have the right kind of clients, because that's part of the game. If everybody could remember this one phrase I was taught 30 years ago, you want to work on your business, not in your business. If you're working in your business, then you're basically an employee, and you'll never grow to that next level. When you work on your business, you're thinking about outside your business, how to have other people work in your business while you're working on it with marketing, selling, customer service, product acquisition, et cetera, et cetera. Sounds easy. Most people fail at it. I failed at it at the beginning of my career. And I just helped, like with Waverly, our management team developed and increased their gift shop by huge margins, over $30,000 a month. Okay. And that's pretty much doubling what they were doing. It's 100% using techniques. And we haven't even given and developed all the techniques. And because I work there, I'm working there for free because it's a not-for-profit. And when you're on the board, you don't get paid. So what I actually do is I help other people in consulting in small businesses and corporations to improve everything from why is customer service down? Why is employee morale down? Why are we not growing? Why are you stressed out? Why are your profits down? Why are they not getting it? The haunt industry, you guys, Steve, I think you and I had a talk. I didn't say exactly this, but I can say this is what it sort of relates to. Are you guys hockey? Anybody here a hockey fan?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if you've seen hockey, the idea in hockey is when the guy, whatever position they're playing, is working with the puck and they're looking down at the puck and they're skating with the puck. The idea is not to be in with the puck at that moment. It's to anticipate where the puck will be next. Same with our field of haunts. Same with our field of any business. There has to be an anticipation of where it's going. Now, with AI involved, with everything in the next 5 years, you better be thinking about 5 years in the future. Because if you don't think about 5 years in the future, you're going to be left behind, because unless you're a small, tiny haunt, it's really not going to grow in a small town, and you don't adapt technologically, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, with all that being said, how does specifically, if you can, how does an owner or a GM or somebody like maybe in a creative position inside of a haunted attraction, how do they put their haunt into the next level?
First thing is, I tell everybody, write it down. What do you want? Where you want to go? People look at me when I'm consulting and say, what do you mean? I'll look at them and say, what do you really want? And if it's a small business owner, Well, I want my company to thrive. I said, that's not specific enough. What do you want and what don't you want to get what you want? Meaning, make 2 columns on a piece of paper. I have a haunt. It's 30,000 square feet. I want to go to 50. Why are you want to go to 50? Well, I want to grow money, but you don't have to grow to make more money to get bigger. Sometimes it's check your prices. Sometimes it's check, what are you selling to your people? Do you have a gift shop? Have you learned to upsell to VIP status? Have you done these things? These are simple techniques, but no one gets down to the nitty gritty when they're teaching and look at people and say, do these things first. Start here. What do you want? And then what don't you want? Now, here's the example. What don't you want? Tayen, if you're in your company with your mom and you guys have a meeting and you guys are talking about, okay, here's what we want this year. Here's what we want our quarterly gross to be. Now, to reach those numbers, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, we're going to do this, this, and this. But what don't you want to put up with from your schedule for your employees to your product costs or everything to achieve that goal? If people don't ask for that, they're going to end up saying, well, they're going to make an extra 50,000, but they're going to get a lot of crap that goes along with it that they never anticipated because they never stopped to think about it. They never stopped to write it down and say, I don't want this to get this. You know, somebody can say, I want to be rich, but maybe with that richness comes 150 hours a week, a heart attack, a divorce. Does that make any sense, guys? I mean, you know, if you don't specifically define where you are going, you're going to hit nothing and it's going to hurt you. Okay. So what I start off with people is, you're a hunt. Where do you want to go? How, you know, meaning how much money do you want to make starting out? How many hours a week do you want to work? How many employees do you want to have? What size haunt do you want to have? Even people that are doing it today are just going with the flow and they never change. They don't grow. They think they don't have to. And their haunt stays the same. You want to go after people that want to go to that next level. And to go to the bigger levels from where they're at takes nuanced business planning. Nuances make the difference. Those tiny 1%. Those tiny 1%. And those things really, really, really matter. Hold on one second, guys. I gotta plug you in here because we're starting to. I plugged in all day long, and all of a sudden my phone goes down. It's crazy. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So that's the first place, Stephen Tayen. That's where I start. Where do you want to go? And when I consult with people and they don't tell me where they want to go, I don't work with them.
Nope, we lost you.
Oh,
We lost.
hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. Hold on.
Try to do an interview at a movie drive-in.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Actually, what happened was when I turned my car on to power you guys up, my Bluetooth was on and I went straight to the car. So I don't work with people. So that's the first thing. And when I do a consult with somebody and I look at their haunt or their numbers or whatever they're doing, and I say, okay, you are upside down. You're management heavy. You don't have enough employees. You don't have a manager running it. They don't understand sales techniques. Your advertising is horrible. You haven't caught up to any kind of advertising you need to. You haven't direct marketed to anybody. You don't collect emails. You don't collect addresses. You don't do this. 90% of the people don't do that. Easily. That could increase someone's business by 30%. That's a lot of money for somebody that's trying to make a living. So start there. That's the first one. Understand who you're selling to. What is your unique position in the market you're in? What makes you different than the haunts? That's your second thing. Third thing, have you systemized your haunt? I look at some of these people that walk around in these haunts in these small towns, and their haunts are doing $80,000, $100,000. They could do $250,000 if they really worked at it. Now, $250,000 in a small town is a hell of a lot of money for a haunt owner. You get these people that are making $350,000 to $400,000, they can go to $800,000. That's why they need to come to Fear Expo, is to pay and learn. I made the most money when I went to events and seminars from people who were way wealthier than I was. They taught me things. It cost me $2,000, $2,500 per seminar to go to. Then I walked out of there with courses and books. Did it change my life? Yes, it did. Did I put what they taught me into action and made it work? Yeah. And some of the times I kick myself for not doing it earlier, because I wouldn't have been successful if I wouldn't have done some of that. And some of the people, they don't understand that you have to start with where you want to go, what you're willing to do, and then go for it. And it requires, get outside your field, see what other people are doing in other fields. That's why you want to come to a Fear Expo. You want to level up at Fear Expo? Don't just pay that small price. Go in there, pay that whatever the highest price is for a ticket next year. Pay that big VIP price. Get in and network. Because remember this statement: your network defines your net worth. Period. I just called up somebody that I've known for years. We're going to get back together with lunch. I haven't talked to him in about 10 years. I've known him for 25 years, 30 years almost. And this man used to own 42 Hooters. Then he started owning bread companies, construction companies, apartment buildings. He's 81 years old, still goes to the office half the time. Are you guys familiar with ketogenic dieting and stuff like that? Okay.
I've heard of it.
No.
Okay. There's a product out there called Prove It. Keto Prove It, Pruvit. Have you heard of it?
I don't think I've heard of that one. No.
Okay. His son is the co-founder of that. It's the largest multi-level marketing company. It's based out of Louisville, Kentucky. Now, these people leveled up. And haunt owners like Doug had leveled up. Doug went to a certain level. Doug and his crew are trying to help people. You, Steve, like we had talked, Steve, before. How do you do that? You come to a place like this, get with people like this, sit down in the room, let them go through it. No BS. You put them in hot seats. You put people in a hot seat. You go through their entire situation and you pick it apart piece by piece. And then when they leave, they will have so many structures and systems and ideas that they'll make a ton of money, that they'll pay 10 times the amount that they paid to go to this event. But you got to have those kind of things. Is everybody going to pay that amount? No, because not everybody's ready to go to that next level, right? Not everybody's going to level up. That's why there's a stair steps, as I call it, to marketing and business. Somebody's on the first step. There's 10 steps to get to the top of the second platform. You're on the first platform. Maybe you're only at the baby step right after the first platform. Second step, maybe you're on the third or fourth, but somebody's ahead of you. So come to Fear Expo, learn from people who've done it before you. And when you network like that, really network, go into the no BS sessions that I think they're talking about having. I don't know if they're going to have them or not, but I spoke to Doug about it. Put these people in there, change their business life. That way, when they come in there and they're able to buy products from Tayen and other people, they're going to know how to use those products to make their life better. Because isn't that what it's about, guys? You do you're in this industry, Steve, because you love it, like me. Don't tell people, but I do it for free because I love it, right? And I've done it for free, working for this not-for-profit, because I really wanted to help them to excel and achieve. But this is the Western culture. So you got to pay your bills. You got to, pay for your house, your food, your kids' insurance, whatever you got, you got to pay for. So we all want to have more, but we want to enjoy the process. That's what Fear Expo, I believe, next year is going to do for people by coming to Owensboro to really learn. That's why this new direction, I think, is a brilliant idea. So it's a conference that's got the buying possibility with it versus a convention. I put conventions on to this day. It's a whole different animal. I love conferences because you can get in close with people who will value your time, and you teach them how to win. You teach them how to get where they want to go.
Well, where do you see this industry going, say, within the next 5 years between, AI coming up? Everybody's got axe throwing now. They're putting bars and haunted attractions, escape rooms. The whole bit. It used to be just going, here's our haunted attraction. Now it's a whole showcase of things. Where do you see this going in 5 years?
I think a good portion of the places are going to have to go bigger, meaning add more of that to attract attention because it's still about the experience. They're going to have to add a lot of AI. They're going to have to computerize a lot. There's going to be a downturn in positive the use of all employees if people can get inexpensive animatronics. So let's say you normally have 80 employees, you may come down to 40. Now, that's not going to be that way all the time, but AI is going to crush some jobs. Not permanently, but still, it's going to happen. I think the industry has to adapt and understand it is about the experience. And I think that's important. Okay. So I think Fear Expo is on the cusp of that. I think you, Steve, are on that. I think Tayen and her family's business can definitely be on that cusp of what do I do? Where do I go next? I've seen cycles of business. I'm 55. I've lived through quite a few. So I now see what I'm not afraid of that other people may not see. And you know what? If I give someone advice, they don't take it and it happens, not on me. If they ask me what would I do, I'll say, well, what would I do and what you do may be different. But what I would do if it is to survive is to adapt very quickly. Think about being ahead of the game. Expand your place even more so. Because axe throwing is going to go to the wayside. You all know that. Even escape rooms are going to lose it a little bit. You know that. So what's the next big thing? Outside of our industries, what the next big thing is. So I go and I investigate what theme parks are doing. I see a lot more VR in the future with AI. So where does that lead? Well, less actors for sure for the short period of time, not on every haunt, because some of the smaller haunts can't afford it. But if you want to level up and you're up here, then you're going to do things like that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right, especially with like augmented realities, VR, like you were saying.
Yes.
And even now with this, I don't want to say actor shortage because there's plenty of actors out there. It's just we can't get any of them to come work a full night.
You can't get any of them to work on a full night. I hate to say it, but they're unreliable. They just aren't. Look who you're dealing with. These are people that aren't necessarily people that have that desire to just be. This is not all of them. I have a lot of good actors. There's a lot of good actors in the world, but we all know there's a shortage. So I'm looking at ways like I've got another business that I've got that has employee shortage issues. Absolutely. It happens in every industry. So I think this is something that you guys should do more work on in the podcast in the future. Talk about how to deal with the employee shortage. What's going to happen? What about, virtual reality, augmented reality? What about AI? How is this going to change? So honestly, this is something that we should talk about. We need to get some other people on here, Steve, and Tayen, let's do some more of this communication because right now there's so much happening that we could go on and on and on. But first thing I tell people is start with what I said at the beginning of the podcast. Those things matter first because nothing else matters. If you don't know where you're aiming, how the hell are you going to hit your target?
Well, we're running short on time because I know your movie's about to start, but we do have a question on the board. Tayen.
Yes. Willie said, how can you be an agent of change and know when to start adapting?
You got to be both. I do both. Because if you don't understand balance, remember, the only thing constant in the universe is change. And adaptability is essential with things moving faster and faster. So you have to be both. You have to be an agent of change with a foundation of stability, knowing when you just have to keep doing what you're doing, then take the risk to change. It's a big risk, guys, but you got to take it.
Well, Ken, we're going to let you go and let you enjoy your movie.
Thanks, guys. I'll let you know how it is, and let's do this again real soon. I'd love to come back on and have a much longer talk about a lot of other things in this business world. We could talk for an hour and a half and really solve some problems. We could take a lot of questions and give some great feedback and good answers, okay?
Absolutely. We'll set something up. For sure.
Sounds great, guys. Listen, have a great night to you guys and everybody listening. Keep on trucking, guys. All right, hang in there.
All right, let us know how the movie is when it's over.
I will. I'll let y'all know.
All right, take care, Ken.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, fantastic. We have a couple of things before we move on to our, I guess, before our next guest. We'll just say it like that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things here. First